Hey, it's Matthew Berry, the talented Mr. Roto for ESPN Fantasy, and I'm standing next to, get this, Geddy Lee, legendary rock icon, Rush, 30 million albums sold. You know, I don't need to give you a rock resume. What I do need to do, because everyone knows that, what I do need to do is give your fantasy baseball resume. You've been playing for over a decade. You told me about your league. You're in the most hardcore league I think I've ever heard of. Like, you guys have, you do catcher wins,
Right.
outfield assists. What are some of the other categories that you do in your league?
You know, we have defensive stats. They're important. We have really tough eligibility rules. For example, if you're a right fielder, you have to be a right fielder in our league. You can't just be
An outfielder. You got to play like 20 games at right field.
You have to you have to play more than that. You have to play 25% of all your starts have to be at that position.
Right.
And it's monitored as we go through the year. So if you lose, you know, if they shift you, you could lose your eligibility. So that's an important category for us.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And the other thing is what you told me about. This is not only is it an intense league in terms of statistics, but it's also a deep league. You guys have 40-man rosters. It's a mixed keeper league. And
Yeah.
you guys have 40-man rosters each.
Yeah, we have 40-man roster. We have 25 active players, and 15 guys that you can store away forever. And it's a points league.
Right.
So at the end of each season, the way we do it is the champion has the fewest points to freeze, and of course the last place team gets the most points to freeze, and they get first crack the next year at the available players.
All right, so the obvious question then is, how many points do you have to freeze? Where are you? First, last? How'd you do?
Well, this year I finished second, so I don't have a whole lot of points to freeze.
No, you don't. You're being modest. Not only did you finish second, you've actually won this league 4 years in a row.
Yeah,
prior to this.
Prior to this, I did win 4 years in a row, and I finished second now twice in a row. But
so
my grip is slipping.
They're slipping. Yeah, past 6 years, 4 titles and 2 top 2 finishes. Not bad. If the rock thing doesn't work out,
sure,
we'll hire you over at ESPN Fantasy.
Yeah,
write a column.
Okay, no problem. I'm into that.
Excellent. Hey, so the thing that you were talking off camera, and he told me, he's like, yeah, we're a keeper league, and I mean, Dice-K's been gone for 3 years in our league.
Well, like I said to you earlier, he's been on and off. He was drafted a couple of years ago, and then when it looked like he wasn't coming over, he was released. Drafted and released. And this past season, of course, I hoped I could draft him in the middle of the season, and I was going to take him in the second round of our weekly free agent pool, but one of the very smart members of our league picked him up in the first round. So
yeah,
I had to settle for Akinori Iwamura, which I hope he pans out for me.
Well, that's a question, because you and your league, you're obviously studying the Japanese leagues. What do you think he's going to do this year in Tampa Bay?
I think it's very hard to predict. Really hard to predict. The short fields in Japan make his power a really unpredictable number, but I wouldn't be surprised if he, has a similar kind of numbers to, say, Higuchi for the White Sox.
Higuchi, maybe slow double-digit home runs.
I think, like I said, I think it's hard to
Yeah.
predict, but he could have anywhere from 16 to 25 home runs, depending on how he adjusts. Some guys don't adjust. Look at Kaz Matsui. He never adjusted.
Totally. Although Kaz Matsui hit 325 over the second half of last year. Now in Colorado. Kaz Matsui's a guy I like as a sleeper this year, by the way.
Yeah, could be.
I
don't
feel
think they were keeping as many balls in the humidor at the end of the season
No.
last year.
No.
I noticed that runs were increasing.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Yeah, no, definitely. They definitely did that. So talk to me about some of the other guys on your team. Give me some guys that you like this year. You were telling me that you were trying to decide for your last keeper. It was either going to be Matt Kemp or Chad Billingsley.
Yeah. Well,
where are you leaning there, and why?
Well, I like Matt Kemp a lot. I think he's a terrific prospect. I think it's just a matter of time before he's a really dominant outfielder.
Yeah.
And I like Billingsley as well. So for me, it's just a question of when I finish my freeze team, where's my biggest need? I'm a little worried about Billingsley, not because I don't believe in him. I think he's going to be a great pitcher, but he may not be a great pitcher this year, and he's a lot of points for me to freeze. So that's the life of a roto guy.
That is the life of a roto guy. They've got to make the tough decisions, man. That's why I love the league that you were describing to me, because it's about tough decisions. Like, it's no fun for me like to be in an 8-team league that's mixed league and everyone's an all-star. I mean, it's like, you need to know who Paul Bacco is.
That's right.
I mean, you need to be in a league where you need to know exactly who that dude is.
You don't need to draft him.
No, no, you don't want to avoid him, but you need to know
Yeah.
who he is, what he does.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Billingsley. I think he's a year away. I think he's a year away from being great.
I mean, with young pitchers, I think it's really unpredictable.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, if I'm not sure about a player, I'll go with what I'm sure of. I think that's kind of the golden rule.
Yeah, no, it's always easy to be sure about hitters.
Yeah, hitters are much more predictable, but young guys can be difficult too.
So I want you to, Geddy, just because I think fans out there will be really interested, because I was fascinated by this. Right? So I'm at a Rush show, right? And I'm rocking out, and I'm freaking going nuts, right? And you get up on the stage, and you finish the song, and you're like, "We'll be right back. Thank you so much." You run up the stage, and then what happens?
I go in the dressing room. I get a bottle of water. I start relaxing. I open up my laptop, and I immediately check the scores from that evening, and I check all the stats of my players. And I got 20 minutes to do that. Cool out, especially important if you have, say, 3 pitchers going that night.
Right.
And then I go back to work. So
that's Rush tours the summer, and that's baseball season for you. You're a one league guy.
Yep.
You don't play football. You don't play basketball. Pure baseball.
Pure baseball.
Awesome.
Love it. I love the game.
Geddy, a true pleasure, and we're excited to have you as part of ESPN Fantasy Baseball this year.
Hey, thanks. It's been a blast. I've had a good time today.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Great.
All right.